Magandang araw mga Kapitek. Welcome po sa ating session number 29 of our Encash review. And for today's video, we're going to reiterate and provide important points or salient points relative to Department Order number 7 series of 2023, otherwise known as the Guidelines on Recruitment, Selection and Appointment in the Department of Education. Okay? So, pasadahan po natin yung ating mga important provisions ng ating DepEd order na ito. So, una-una, ang DepEd order na ito ay may kinalaman po sa ating recruitment RSP or RSA, Recruitment, Selection and Appointment in the Department of Education. And kung titingnan natin po itong DepEd order, makikita natin sa item number 3 that in support of the basic principles and general guidelines, these are the different specific guidelines that will be followed for. Number 1, yung criteria and point system for hiring to teacher 1 from kindergarten to grade 12. And of course, yung criteria and point system for hiring and promotion to school administration. And criteria and point system for hiring and promotion to related teaching positions. Ganon din po yung criteria and point system for hiring and promotion to the non-teaching position. In this particular case, ang focus po natin, dahil medyo mahaba po ito, hatiin natin yung ating diskusyon. We're going to divide this video into the discussion of item 3.A and item 3.B. All right? So this goes to the idea of discussing yun pong ating hiring sa teacher 1 position, and then po yung hiring naman para sa school administration position, particularly for the school principal position. All right, so moving forward, ito yung ating rationale. Okay, of course, SOP naman ito, no? Na we talk about the rationale, we talk about the Ora-Ora, the Administrative Code of 1987, and then we have also some provisions that were mentioned here, yung ating 2017 Omnibus Rules on Appointments and Other Human Resource Actions, at tinatawag nga natin na Ora-Ora, that governs the preparation, submission, and action to be taken on appointments and other human resource movements in the Philippine government as issued by the Civil Service Commission. Okay. This also in line with the Department of Education CSE approved MSP or the Merit Selection Plan as embodied under DepEd Order number 19 series of 2022. Okay, i-highlight ko lang yung ibang mga points po dito para makita natin. So ito yung I'm referring to item 3 here na may kinalaman po dito sa MSP. Okay? Fitness, competence, accountability, transparency, and equal opportunity. Kailangan nating babanggitin po yan for the reason that yung EO policy, yung equal opportunity principle na tinatawag po natin, ay inalis na po yung any forms of discrimination na may kinalaman po doon sa position. But right now, it's already equal to everybody regardless of whatever the yung mga possible hindrances of one getting appointed. Right? So we go directly into yung next part, and that would be yung scope niya. Syempre, dahil ang focus natin dito ay yung teacher 1 position, school admin position, then we have the related teaching, and then the non-teaching. Okay, so ito kasama dahil separate video pong pag-usapan din when we talk about the DepEd Order number 20 series of 2024. So medyo matagal na po itong 2023 pa, and it has been in effect already for some time now na ginagamit na po natin yung ating provisions dito. Okay? So, i-highlight yung ating mga different terms na pwede nyo ma-encounter, like yung application of education, dahil ito yung mga malalaking points no, na nakapaloob na ngayon, and then application of the learning and development. No? Yung application of education refers to the contributions made by the applicant that led to the positive outcome in their current or previous workplace as a result of their learnings from the higher education earned. No? So it is somehow related to proposing an innovative practice or some kind of an innovation that would allow the applicant to apply or to come up with a certain program as a result of education. So for me, parang nakikita ko po dito is the application of education and the application of learning almost the same, considered to be an innovative practice. Yung isa niya from education at yung isa naman na i-apply niya ay nakuha niya from learning and development. No? So in the evaluation led to the positive outcome their current previous states as a result their learnings from human resource interventions done or attended. Okay. Yung background investigation and the behavioral events interview po ay parte po yan ng ating mga percentage sharing doon sa total points later on ipapakita natin. Okay. We highlight also the term bona fide or bona fide. Bona fide resident refers to an applicant who is a resident for at least 6 months of the barangay, the municipality, the city, as evidenced by the applicant's PDS and voter's ID or any proof of residency. Okay. Importante po yan. Yan po yung legal definition natin. Sa comparative assessment and then the comparative assessment result. Siyempre, the comparative assessment is the procedure and the output ay ang CAR. Okay, comparative assessment result. And then yung comparative assessment result of the RQA, or yung tinatawag natin na CAR RQA, refers to the comparative assessment result of the registry of qualified applicants. Ito na yung nakamit po ng tinatawag natin na cut-off score. Okay, my cut-off score. Okay? Moving forward, competence, okay na po yan. Education, eligibility, equal opportunity, nabanggit ko na rin po ito. So, tingnan na po natin yung ating increment table. No? Ito yung bago dito dahil gumagamit na po tayo ng increments. So, tinatawag natin na increment table. Refers to the tool that is used in determining the incremental points, no? In the education, training, and the experience obtained by the applicant that exceeds the minimum requirement per CSC-approved qualification standards. Makikita natin dito sa mga illustrative example that would give you the idea na yung qualification, minimum qualification is the basic qualification that is needed for the applicant to be considered qualified for the comparative assessment result. Otherwise, kung meron siyang qualification standard as per evaluation ay hindi niya na-meet, then hindi siya pwedeng mag-proceed doon sa tinatawag natin na comparative assessment or yung procedure na kung saan magkakaroon po hanggang sa evaluation or the interview. Kasi doon pa lang sa QS, hindi na niya na-meet yung qualification standard. Okay? Okay, next. Okay, open ranking, okay na yan. Binibigay naman dito yung mga different terms, no? You can have the definition naman yan. So hindi ko na po babanggitin ito, but it's important that when you review, I suggest that you go back dito sa mga definitions po na ito. Okay? Ayan. Ito, baka malinaw lang, baka magkaroon po ng yung related teaching position po refers to the position whose primary duties and responsibilities contribute to the delivery of the basic education services and achievement of the agency outcomes through the provision of direct support to teaching and the delivery of instructions, such as standard setting, policy and program formulation, research, and sector monitoring and evaluations. Okay? So, yan po yung definition po niyan, yung related teaching position. Then we also have the non-teaching positions. Okay? Other definitions are here, and then yung ating mga, how do you call that? Yung ating mga acronyms are also here. Okay. Now, yung procedure, umpisahan po natin sa publication of posting of vacancies. In the procedure, kahit na nagbago man yung procedure natin, pero hindi po nawawala dahil Republic Act po itong ating posting of vacancy. Nakapaloob po yan under the Republic Act number 7041, otherwise known as an act requiring regular publication of existing vacant positions in government offices appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. So, ano ba yung importanteng malaman natin about the publication? Unang-una ay in the publication, meron kang provision na it should be posted, no? It should be published in the SCSC website and posted in at least 3 conspicuous places for a period of 10 calendar days. Okay, 10 calendar days. Yan po yung ating regulation as per RA number 7041. Okay? In terms of yung details naman, ay kailangan nakapaloob dun sa published QS, yung number 1, yung kanyang position title, kasama na rin po yung parenthetical na title, yung plantilla item or yung item number, yung salary grade niya, yung equivalent monthly salary nakalagay, and then yung qualification standards here are referring to the education, the training, the experience, eligibility, and yung competency if that would be applicable. And of course, yung place of assignment. So yan po yung nire-require na dapat in the publication. These are all included, no? Para alam noong mga aplikante kung ano yung mga kailangan po niya na i-meet. Alright? So, yan din po yung crucial doon sa ating qualification standards determination. Ayan, nakalagay din po dito, no? The announcement of vacancy shall be done through the issuance of an official memorandum duly signed by the head of office, and the same shall be used for posting in 3 conspicuous places and through other modes. Okay? The memorandum shall contain the same information as specified in the CS form number 9 and may include additional requirements for the position such as but not limited to the following information. So ito na po yung mga information na nakalagay: position, salary grade, equivalent monthly salary, yung qualification standards, also the provision of EOP or the equal opportunity principle na tinatawag, allowing anyone within or outside DepEd to apply for a position irrespective of age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, civil status, disability, religion, ethnicity, and political beliefs. No, yan po yung EOP natin. So, importante that it should be stated in order to adhere to that principle. All right. Ano pa yung kailangan natin na i-highlight dito sa ating dyan, ano, yung publication kalagay beyond the 9 months, but the publication ay ito ay ang validity po niya ay 9 months. So after na may publish as 9 months, ang magiging nangyayari po dan ay magkakaroon po ng reposting. Okay? Magkakaroon po ng reposting. Okay. Alright, moving forward tayo dito sa other provisions. Ito na yung mga submission and receipt of application document. Dito sa ating mga incoming applicants, lalong-lalo na sa mga nagbabalak na mapabilang in the public school system, no? So tinitignan natin ito, ito yung mga requirements, mandatory documents will have to be submitted. Anyone who's planning to apply for public post or teaching post. Internal or external to DepEd, submit the following to the HRMO, no? So meron kang letter of intent, unang-una ka dyan, meron kang letter of intent, meron kang PDS or yung CSC Form 212, at saka included din po yung ating work experience sheet. So importante po yan, they have to also be included. Valid PR, dapat certificate of eligibility or rating, importante din po yan. And the scholastic record, including the TOR and diploma, and the completion of graduate and postgraduate units if available. Certificates of training, certificate of employment, any document that provide yung details of the employment, your employment, supplement, photocopy of the performance rating. So kahit na ito po ay nasa private school, for example, hindi namang performance rating evaluation na ginagawa, nire-require. Okay? So, state certification on authenticity and the documents submitted. Yeah. Okay. In consonance with the RA 879, the electronic of 2000, no? Which provides that electronic document shall have a legal entity as any other document or legal writing. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin din po kasi nito, yung pwedeng mag-submit in a physical copy, pwede rin actually ng application by the online. So, scan mga copies na yan at pinapadala sa HRMO, email, for example, or any other means that opportunity those working specialization of the qualification. Sino gumagawa nito usually? Ito ay kinakanda po ng ating HRMO. So, ibig sabihin yung determination, yung initial evaluation na tinatawag natin, we are to the details, no, of each the church shall the duly HRMPS among and I remark on where Alright, moving forward tayo dun sa last portion na medyo naputol yung ating internet connection. We're now moving forward dito sa ating item C on the initial evaluation of the qualification of applicants. I have mentioned po kanina that the HRMO is the one responsible for the determination ng qualification based on the QS under CSC approved QS. And the HRMO will be the one to determine kung isang aplikante ay qualified or disqualified. So meron silang gagawin na procedure dito na tinatawagan natin na IER, no? Or yung initial evaluation of the qualification of applicants wherein they're going to prepare yung initial evaluation results. So dalawa yung kahihinatnan. ng mga documents na ito, either the applicant will be meeting the minimum qualification, so therefore siya ay magiging qualified, no? Yung item po niya ay qualified. Pero pag hindi po naman, siya ay bibigyan po ng DQ qualification, which means that the applicant can no longer proceed doon sa comparative assessment. Alright? So after that, kung na-determine na qualified yung applicant, moving to the comparative assessment na tayo, no? Yung tinatawag natin na CA, and the CA will now be conducted by the HRM-PSP, no? The HRM-PSP will be the one to judiciously and objectively conduct the evaluative assessment and shall assess the applicants to determine the top candidates that deemed most qualified for appointment to the vacant position. So it will be based on the principles of merit and fitness, and according to the different criteria provided, and the point system will be provided later para makikita po ninyo kung ano yung titignan naman ng HRM-PSB. Okay. So yung sequence natin, makikita natin na mula kay HRMO, na-identify kung ito ay qualified or disqualified, magpo-proceed yan into comparative assessment. Now, under the comparative assessment, ang gagawa ng procedure na ito ay ang HRM-PSB. So, anong titignan dito ni HRM-PSB? Basically, the paper evaluation na ito, so lahat ng mga documents submitted by the applicant will have to undergo validation and evaluation by the members of the HRM-PSB. So alam na natin yan kanina dahil nabanggit ko na nga yung iba't ibang mga documents that are supposed to be submitted. But they are enumerated from A to H. Okay? Yung mga sequence kung anong mangyayari kapag magkakaroon po ng comparative assessment. So after the comparative assessment, ilalabas na yung tinatawag natin na comparative assessment result, registry of the qualified applicants. So dito kay item number 39 nakalagay yung open ranking system and shall be adopted as mentioned on item 39, transparency in the process and the results of the comparative assessment wherein applicants or subset of applicants are present to witness the actual evaluation of which the scores of all applicants present there shall be disclosed to all the attendees. Okay? So, yun po yung proseso na mangyayari. After the evaluation and everything that have been conducted by the HRM-PSB, ay ilalabas na po yung CAR RQA. And in the CAR RQA, nakalagay naman doon na lahat ng mga aplikante will have to get opportunity to see yung kanilang mga scores kasi it will be posted naman by the HRMO. Alright? So, yun po yung mangyayari dito. And then, kapag tapos na yung RQA na yan, at least 3 conspicuous physical places in DepEd offices and schools concerned can be used as a venue para makapag-communicate dito mga results na ito. And it will be open for, kumbaga, public viewing. Yun naman po yung kagandahan nitong procedure as stipulated dito sa ating DO7 series of 2023. Okay? So dito yung titingnan na natin yung iba't ibang mga enclosures, and I have mentioned kanina in the early part of this video ay ang i-discuss lang po muna natin yung hiring for T1 position at saka yung hiring naman for school administration positions. Okay? So we now, ito pa pala bago natin i-escape, ay tingnan muna natin yung importanteng elemento na nakastipulate kay paragraph number 49. No? So in here, sabi nga dyan that meron tayong, or 48 and 49, nakalagay po dyan that for multiple vacancies of the same position title, the HRM-PSP shall determine the highlight of the total number of top-ranking candidates in the CAR RQA computed by multiplying the number of vacant plantilla items by a factor of 5 as follows. So the total number of top-ranking candidates will have to be equal to the number of vacant items multiplied by 5. Ito yung sinasabi nga natin, the factor of 5 or the rule of 5 in which in every item, the top 5 candidates will be eligible for appointment as per the evaluation by the HRMPSB. So if in case na dalawa naman yung items that are similarly magkaiba lang ng item number, parehas naman yung position, then multiply by 5 kaya magkakaroon po ng 10 na qualified or top ranking candidates na pwedeng pagpilian ng ating appointing authority or the appointing officer. Ang HRMPSB naman ay matatapos na yung kanyang trabaho once na i-communicate na niya yung result ng CAR RQA sa Office of the Appointing Officer. Okay? So yan po yung ating ruling dyan. Kaya, and magpa-factor in na po yun, yung appointment ay magpa-factor in na po yung discretionary power ng ating appointing authority kung sino po yung pipiliin to get the item. It shall also be an important point na banggitin na yung cut-off score po natin ay nasa 50 points pa rin, particularly for those who are applying for the T1 position. Okay. We now proceed to so in the appointment, ito bago ko makalimutan itong point ng appointment from letter E dito na stipulated from 57 to 58 nakalagay dyan that the appointing authority shall be guided by the report of the HRMPSB. In the exercise of sound discretion, select insofar as practicable the candidate the most qualified for appointment from among the top 5 or less, depending on the number of candidates. So the rule of 5 is there. And for teacher positions naman, the appointing officer or authority may select from the candidates in the CAR RQA who are ranked below the top 5 or top ranking candidates when the appointment falls within the purview of the exemptions enumerated below. So nakalagay naman dito yung ating mga important merit and fitness criteria kagaya ng learning area specialization, the localization law, and the other laws that are provisional of the national policy and agreement entered into by the DepEd. For example po, nagkakaroon ng kumbaga a special pass, yung mga how do you call that, yung mga returning OFWs po natin na teacher yung qualification nila, yung balik turo, if they call it like that, na kung saan yung mga OFW teachers natin ay binibigyan ng special item para magkapagturo in the public school. So isa yun sa mga exemptions na nabanggit dito sa ating DO number 7 series of 2023. Okay. So I think we now proceed to the enclosure. Tingnan natin yung unang enclosure para makita na po natin kung ano yung binabanggit natin na point system for the hiring. So this one, yung criteria and point system for hiring for T1 position. So sa mga nanonood dyan na ang kanilang application ay for T1 position, ito po yung titignan natin na mabuti. So for comparative assessment, after na ma-identify yung kanilang eligibility, whether or not they are approved for the position, na po pwedeng gumawa ng pasok sa qualification standards, ay tinitignan po yung education nila, yung kanilang training, yung experience nila, yung LET rating, and then yung crucial part doon ay yung COI at saka yung NCOI. COI means the PPST Classroom Observable Indicators at saka yung PPST Non-Classroom Observable Indicators. I-highlight natin dito yung point system dahil ito yung mahalaga. So makikita natin dito yung una, we have the education given 10 points. And then training, another 10 points. Experience ay 10 points. LET rating ay 10. And then the remaining po na 60 items ay divided into the PPST indicators, whether it is classroom observable or the non-classroom observable. Yung classroom observable dito ay kasama yung demonstration teaching worth 35 points, and then the teacher reflection that would point out the BPST and COIs or non-classroom observable indicators will be given additional 25 points. So all in all, makakakuha po yung aplikante ng 100 points. Okay? So ito yung mga rubrics natin na ginagamit. For example, for education, training, and experience, so gumagamit po ito ng tinatawag natin na incremental values or table of increments na makikita dito sa DepEd order na yan. The rubrics for computation of points for the ETE can also be found dito sa table number 3. So tingnan natin yung increment table for education, for example, para lang tayo mag-guide. Ano? So for example, yung qualification po, tingnan natin yung ating level. No? Halimbawa yung qualification na sinusundan doon sa isang position ay ang nire-require lang po niya ay bachelor's degree. Ang level po noon ay level 6. Okay? So ibig sabihin kung ang kanyang unit ng master's degree ay nasa 6 and below, ibig sabihin halos walang galawan doon sa kanyang incremental table. Pero kapag naka-earn na siya ng 6 units ng master's degree, nag-level 7 na yan. Kaya ibig sabihin, yung ating figure ay 7 yung kanyang actual, and then yung kanyang base ay 6. Kaya ibig sabihin po ang incremental value na tinatawag natin is equal to 7 minus 6, that is equivalent to 1. Okay? So yung incremental value na 1, titignan natin kung anong equivalent nun doon sa point system. Okay? Pero kapag yung aplikante naman ay naka-earn na ng master's degree, ibig sabihin nandito na siya sa master's degree. Okay? So anong level na yan? Ang level na po niya ay 21. So ang mangyayari, ang computation niya ngayon will be 21 minus 6 which is equivalent to 15. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, kapag more than 10 yung kanyang incremental value, in this case ay 15, makukuha na po niya yung maximum points sa education. Okay? So yun po yung discussion dyan sa incremental value. Ganon din dito kay training at saka kay experience. So tinitignan kung nire-require yung 40 hours, ito po, halimbawa, training mo ay 40 hours, kailangan nandun ka kay level 6. So kung ang kayong training ay less than 40, automatic DQ yan. Disqualified yung aplikante. Pero kapag ang kanyang incremental value ay sabihin mo ng 120 hours, so 16 na yan. 16 minus 6, that will be equivalent to 10. So meaning po, meron na siyang maximum points kung 10 po yung equivalent. Later on makikita natin yan. Meron din po yung experience, no? So tinitingnan natin yung level. So susubtract lang po natin yung level na yan para makuha po natin yung incremental value na tinatawag. Okay? So in this particular case, ito yung mga incremental value. So kung ang increment ay 2 to 3, ang points po niya ay 2 for education. Kapag 10 or more yung incremental difference, then ang point na po niyon ay maximum of 10 points. Okay? Kaya kung 1 pa lang yung kanyang qualification, ay hindi po pasok yun. Ibig sabihin, 0 pa rin yung kanyang value. Pag education din, ganun din, 2 to 3 ay 2 at ang 10 po ay magiging 10. Ganun din yung experience, ang 2 to 3 increment ay 2 points, 4 to 5 ay 4, 6 to 7 ay 6, 8 to 9 ay 8, at saka yung 10 or more naman ay 10 points. Okay? Yan po yung natin, yung rubrics for the computation of points for the ETE, gamit po yung ating incremental values. Okay? So illustrative example natin, halimbawa si vacant ay teacher 1, secondary, ang salary grade niya ay 11. Ang QS po niya, bachelor's degree or bachelor's degree plus 18 professional units. And then wala pong required na training, walang required po na experience. Halimbawa lang yan. Walang required na training, walang required na experience. Okay. Ngayon, based doon sa qualification ng aplikante, ay ibig sabihin yung kanyang education ay nasa level 6 siya. Ang training po ay level 1 at ang experience din po niya ay level 1. So that is the qualification standard. Ngayon, kapag siya ay nakakuha ng 18 units ng master's degree, kino-compute na po natin yan. Ibig sabihin, nandun po siya kay level number 11. So, 11 minus 6 po, ang kanyang incremental value ay 5. Based on sa rubrics kanina, okay, yung 5 increment ay merong equivalent na, yan, equivalent na yun. Okay, ganoon din dito. Sa ating increment computation for training, nakita natin na meron siyang mga data na pinakita. And then, na-assess na ang kanyang incremental value based sa accumulated points niya ay 5. At ang level niya ay level 1. Kaya 5 minus 1 po ay equivalent to 4 increment. Because level 1 po, non-required, level 1. Ganon din sa ating experience, no? Kung based sa evaluation ng kanyang paper, lumalabas na meron siyang relevant experience na ang level niya ay level 9. So dahil level 1, hindi naman nire-require yung kanyang experience, 9 minus 1 at meron siyang incremental value na 8. Okay? And from there, ay i-compute na po natin ang kanyang points. Kung ang increment po niya ay 4 to 5 increment, that is equivalent to 4 points. Yung training po niya ay 4 to 5 increment value, that is also equivalent to 4. Yung kanina, yung kanyang experience ay umabot ng 8, kaya from 8 to 9 increment, ang equivalent naman po nun ay 10 points. All in all, for the ETE, ang kanyang total points ay 16 points out of the 30. Okay? So, ganun po yung computation natin for the For the let rating naman ay i-divide lang natin ito by 100. So, for example, yung let rating po niya ay 8275 over 100 multiplied by 10. Ang points po niya ay equivalent to 8.275. Okay? So, mahalaga po yung let rating kasi doon po makikita yung equivalent value ng kanyang kung ilan po yung i-divide para makuha yung equivalent value ng kanyang let rating. Okay, maximum points pa rin sa let rating natin dito ay 10. Okay? And then, pagdating po dun sa rubrics, yung kanyang observation at saka yung kanyang interview, it will be up for the HRMPSB na. No? Gagamit na po yan ng iba't ibang mga tools, kagaya po ng Annex J, according to the separate order, observation notes form, the rating sheet, and then the inter-observer agreement form, and then yung consolidated form, no, on Annex M-1 for the inter-observer agreement form pa rin. Alright, so pipiliin na po kapag napili na yung ating members po ng subcommittee, then sila na po yung hahawak ng classroom observation at the same time po yung kanyang interview that is worth 35 and 25 points. Alright? So, depende sa rubrics, no? Meron pong rubrics na susundan yan ng ating mga members ng HRMPSB. Doon po nila makikita kung ano yung value, no? Say, for example, doon sa classroom observable indicator niya ay meron siyang 30 maximum points at ang nakuha po niya ay 20 lang. So 20 divided by 30 times 35 will be given 23.333 points. Okay, ganun din po kapag sa interview. Ang interview naman po, ang focus nito ay yung kanilang mga non-classroom observable indicators. Okay, so ano ba yung mga non-classroom observable indicators na tinitingnan for the hiring of T1 position? So maintain learning environment that are responsive to community context, review regularly personal teaching practice, that is 6.3.2, 7.2.2, adopt practices that uphold dignity, and 7.3.2, participate in the professional network. Okay? So yan po, teacher's reflection form, yung kanilang sasubmit yan. At kung ano po yung value na makikita sa TRF rating niya, kung maximum of 20 points yun, kung ilan po yung kanyang TRF rating, 14 halimbawa, divided by 20 times 25 points, that will be equivalent to 17.5 points. Okay? So, yung other evaluative assessment na nakapaloob po dito ay yung behavioral events interview, pwedeng gawin dito. It shall be conducted to gather additional information about the teacher applicants in terms of the other aspects such as but not limited to their potential, character, and fitness. Okay? So yun po yung procedure na gagamitin for the ranking and appointment po, eventual appointment ng mga T1 position. Now, tignan natin ngayon para sa school administration. So, ganun din, walang pinagkaiba doon sa mga documents that will have to be submitted. Nabanggit natin ito kanina. So, dito naman, wala ding pinagkaiba, no? Except lamang for the ETE, yung ETE will be constant, education, training, and experience. Ang dinagdag mo dito ay yung performance, yung outstanding accomplishment niya, and then dalawang application of education, at saka yung application of learning and development. Then kasama din po yung potential. Okay? So paano yung distribution? Ito po yung distribution natin. No? For education ay 10 points, ang training po ay max of 10 points, ang experience ay max of 10 points din. Ang performance po ay 25, ang outstanding accomplishment ay 10. Yung application of education and L&D, pareho po sila na tig 10 points yan. Okay, and then yung potential, pwedeng behavioral events interview or the written exam ay binibigyan naman po ng 15 points. Okay. May description po yan mamaya. Tingnan natin, i-dive natin individually. Yung incremental value, halos walang pinagkaiba to. Yun pa rin po yung ginagamit natin. Kung level 6 ay bachelor's degree. Halimbawa, yung kanyang qualification ay master's degree. Halimbawa, nasan ba yung master's degree natin dito ay nasa 21, for example lang. And then, yung kanyang actual accomplishment ay nandun na siya sa complete academic requirements. That will be 30, for example. So 30 minus 21, that will be equivalent to 9. Okay? So 9 na yan, malapit na yan. Incremental value niya ay nasa 8 points na. So yung discussion nito ay hindi na i-discuss mahaba dahil parehas naman po yung procedure na nabanggit natin kanina. Ganon din po sa incremental value ng table, ng training at saka noong experience. Okay, wala pong pinagkaiba yan doon sa nauna nating na-discuss. Okay, so same pa rin po, no? Yung incremental value niya, 2 to 3 will be 2 points, 4 to 5 ay 4, 6 to 7 ay 6, 8 to 9 ay 8, at saka 10 or more naman ay 10 points. Halimbawa, yung school principal 1 na position for the secondary school, for example, ang salary grade niya ay 19. Ang kanyang education po ay bachelor's degree. Ayan, bachelor's degree yung hinihingi. And then 40 hours of relevant training, head teacher for 1 year, ang experience, or teacher in charge for 2 years, master teacher for 2 years, or teacher for 5 years. So alin man dyan, ang kanyang qualification standard pagdating po ng experience. Okay? Comparative assessment lang naman yan. So wala pong pinagkaiba dyan dun sa nabanggit na natin kanina. Yung pag-determine ng incremental value po yung crucial part dyan na kailangan natin na tignan. So if you're planning to apply, for example, the yung pagpili noong mga documents that will have to be included ay parte po yun, ano? Parte po yan na ang pwedeng gawin or ilagay po natin na practice in order to properly select itong mga documents natin that will be included in your folder. Okay? Okay, so yun po yung ano natin dyan, yung discussion natin dito. Again, ulitin na naman natin yung qualification standards. Pagka qualification standards at hindi po naaayon or yung QS po niya hindi niya na-meet yung minimum qualification, automatically magkakaroon po ng disqualification on the part of the applicant. And then ang points lamang will have to follow kapag nagkaroon po ng incremental value doon sa kanyang experience or yung kanyang actual na accomplishment. Okay? Now, tingnan natin yung performance. Ang crucial dito yung performance. Performance rating lang naman ang tinitignan natin dito. For example, ang kanyang performance po ay nasa 3.995 or that would be a external applicant. Balikan natin muna yung internal applicant. Halimbawa lang, ang kanyang rating ay nasa 4.356. So 4.356 divided by 5 multiplied by 25, that will be equivalent to 21.78. So yung 21.78, yan po yung value na nakukuha niya. Makukuha niya doon sa performance. Okay? What about the other criterion? Halimbawa, yung outstanding accomplishment niya. Yung outstanding accomplishment po, ang tinitingnan natin dito, yung kanyang Outstanding Employee Award. Okay? Outstanding Employee Award. Ano pa? Award as a trainer or coach. Ayan. Alright. Makikita natin yung mga rubrics na nakalagay dyan. And then the research and innovation. Pwede rin po yan. Yung research and innovation. And then subject matter expert or membership in the TWG. Kasama din po. Resource speakership and learning facilitation will also be included there. Ayan. Makikita natin dito sa page 50 na ito, no, ng ating DepEd order. Okay? Kung NAIAP accredited learning facilitator naman ay may additional na 2 points. Kung national trainer siya ay 1.5 points at kapag assessor naman po ay binibigyan po siya ng additional na 2 points. Okay? What else? Tingnan natin yung application of L&D and then application of education. Kapag yung action plan ay approved by the head of office at meron naman pong document doon that is relevant, then it is given 5 points. Okay? Kapag kasama po yung accomplishment report as verified by the head of the office, then binibigyan po ito ng 7 points. Kapag all MOVs were presented, then ito po ay bibigyan ng 10 points. Parehas po dito sa application of learning and development. Kasi parehas na 10 points yan, may pagkakaiba lang nila doon sa mga documents na hinahanap. Okay? Now, ang crucial dito yung potential. Kasi yung potential composed of 15 points. 5 points doon ay galing sa BEI, 10 points po doon ay galing sa written examination. For principal 1 position, automatically yung kanyang yung kanyang NCASH rating ang gagamitin, no, para makuha mo yung 10 points. Halimbawa, yung score niya ay nandoon po sa ano ba yung value, no? Yung nakuha niya ay 165 out of 200. I-divide natin yung 165 divided by 200 multiplied by 10, that will get you yung 8.25 na value. So yun yung value nung written exam. Yung remaining 5 naman ay para na po yun doon sa interview, no? So tinitingnan po yung kanyang aptitude, yung characteristics of traits, and then the fitness and the others that may be identified po by the HRMPSP. Okay? So, yun lang po muna ang mga crucial na parts dito sa ating DO7 series of 2023. And I hope that you're able to get valuable insights kung paano po gagamitin itong mga provisions na ito na nakalagay po sa DO7 series of 2023. Okay? So hanggang dyan lamang mga Kapitek. See you ulit sa mga susunod natin na mga videos. Maraming salamat and happy learning.